for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came in to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Mark!
The sickest NHL podcast. Brought to you by TCS Customs and Logistics. Moving pieces, delivering peace of mind. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire in Boston at our favorite establishment, West End Johnny's in the Red Room, getting ready for the Hockey East semifinals. And I am here in Lake Placid at the Olympic Center in Romer's Pub and Cafe here, right overlooking the rink. And you can't see it here, but a beautiful view there and a beautiful view next to me right here. The head coach of Clarkson, JF Merlet, joining us. Pierre, you know this man well.
I do, and I respect him a ton. I know his dad really well, too. Great hockey family from Montreal. The biggest thing is when JF went back to Clarkson, it was bringing a legacy person back to an amazing, powerful program like Clarkson is. So I'm so glad that JF had the opportunity. And Jimmy, I watched his games last weekend with Harvard, and I know it was tight, but, Coach, you had to be relieved when you saw that overtime winner go in the net.
Yeah, we're really happy to be back here in Lake Placid. It's a great place. There's been some good hockey here played, and very, very excited. And it was tight games against Harvard, but our players found a way. They battled through, and really happy to be back.
What is, in your opinion, Coach, during the season, were there any moments that prepared your players for a moment like that where you really had to face adversity and battle through?
Yeah, I think there's lessons learned all throughout the year. Either it's winning and coming back in the third, or even some losing. Sometimes you can learn from. So it's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think throughout the year we've learned a lot as a team. And one of it was persevere and find a way to get that tying goal just to take it to OT, and we're really proud of that.
One of the things that I think you have that helps so much, JF, is professional experience. Being behind the bench of an American Hockey League team, growing up in an NHL family like you did. Take us through the mindset, how you plan after playing 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then have to quick transition to play against a big opponent coming up tomorrow, to transition for you as a coach. How did you prepare your team to get to Lake Placid?
Yeah, obviously coaching in the major junior, playing 70, 78 games a year. Same with the pros. We're used to those 3 and 3, and it's making sure the players rest, making sure they fuel their bodies for the next week coming up. And we had a good week of practice, and the guys, I felt like we had some pretty good energy in that third game, and I think we're going to be ready for a big, strong, good hockey team opponent in Dartmouth here coming up tomorrow.
What is it, you've been here before, what does it mean for you to be here at Lake Placid in this environment and part of the ECAC Championships?
Well, it's big. It's big for our fans. We bring a lot of fans here at Lake Placid, and in Clarkson, it's important for us to try to make it here every year. It's for the alumni too. I think the alumni are big fans of coming to Lake Placid, and we travel in large groups. And credit to the players that worked all year to get here, and hopefully we could try to get this trip on the consistent level.
You got a lot of good players on your roster, Coach, but one of them just became a final nominee for the Hobie Baker in Martino. Tell the viewers and the listeners at home all about his game.
Yeah, he's an excellent player. He's a student of the game. He studies video of opponents. He's got a very high hockey IQ. He knows next play that's coming. He's a playmaker. He's been leading us all year in goals and assists, and a good kid too. He wants to learn. He wants to play in the NHL, and hopefully he gets the chance to do that one day. But I was really proud of him as how he came prepared for the season, even though there was a coaching change. Sometimes it could be tough, but Martino sure answered the bell.
Coach, when you guys embarked on this season, what did you want the identity of this team to be, and when did you start to see it come to fruition on the ice?
Yeah, we had our ups and downs at the beginning of the season. With a couple of those losses, probably cost us a bid to the NCAA. But like you said, lessons learned. I think that for us, we wanted to be a relentless, hardworking team that's hard to play against, and I think as the year went on, we worked on that and we became that team. We're relentless. We're hard to play against. We're stingy defensively. Our special teams are excellent. So, I think we're a dangerous team out there.
Coach, I got to tell you, I'm a St. Lawrence guy, coached a lot of games against Clarkson, have a ton of respect for Clarkson, and I called it a legacy program before. One of the truly great legacy people there is Billy O'Flaherty. Do you ever get a chance to talk to the old coach? And if you do, what are some of his suggestions to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Billy was our athletic director when I was a player there. He was very excited when I got the job here at Clarkson. We went out for a few coffees, couple dinners. Billy's is a legend here at Clarkson. He's done a lot for the program, and I respect everything he says. We're still in touch quite a bit, almost daily. We text each other or send an email, and tons of respect for Billy O'Flaherty.
What does it mean to you, speaking of legacy there, what does it mean to you to be part of that Clarkson legacy now? You already were, obviously, as a player, but now as a coach.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's one of the reasons why I decided to take this job. I care about Clarkson. I care about the people in the program. We have a lot of great alums, great supporters, and I've always been a fan. And I think it's a great family atmosphere here at Clarkson University in Potsdam, New York, and we want to continue doing that and hopefully to get some success throughout.
Jimmy, you know what's cool about the matchup tomorrow, Dartmouth versus Clarkson? You got two guys that actually earned their coaching stripes in pro hockey.
Yeah.
And Reed Cashman to me is a guy that really earned his stripes. He was a great player at Quinnipiac. He was a real good minor league pro player, and he's been a tremendous coach. I've known Reed a long time, a kid from Red Wing, Minnesota. And I can't wait to see this coaching matchup tomorrow. I really can't. Coach, take us inside your mindset when you're getting ready for Dartmouth. What do you tell? I don't want you to give away state secrets. How are you preparing your team?
Well, it's very, very, it's amazing doing video this week. Reed and I have a lot of the similarities in the way our team plays, and doing the pre-scout, we're pretty much carbon copy of each team's the same. We forecheck the same, we back check the same, zone coverage the same. So you could tell that we've had some little bit of pro experience there with Reed. And the game we played at Dartmouth this year was an unbelievable game. It was fast-paced game, tight, and we both talked after the game. We couldn't believe how good of a hockey game it was. So we're expecting a really good game tomorrow, and I have a lot of respect for Reed.
Coach, final question for me before we bring in Quinnipiac head coach Rand Pecknold here. Talk about the camaraderie between all the coaches in the ECAC and really what a great culture it is amongst the whole conference.
Yeah, there's a lot of good coaches here in ECAC, and we all get along, and we could all learn from each other and help each other. We want the best for our league, and it makes sense to push in the same direction. So really happy to be part of this fraternity.
Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. We appreciate it. Best of luck in the tournament here, and we hope you'll go home with the championship.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, JF. Merci beaucoup.
JF will join us. We're bringing on head coach from Quinnipiac, Rand Pecknold. We've had him here on the eye test before. He's on his way over right now, Pierre.
Well, no, Jimmy, if he doesn't know his way around that city, I give up. And I'm going to give him a little shot when he gets it. Hey,
here
Coach, how come you were late? Coach, you got to know your way around Lake Placid better than anybody.
Loves ripping everybody. He's been waiting right here, Pierre. Don't worry.
I was here 22 minutes early.
Yeah.
This is Jimmy, this is my favorite guy. Outside of the Hockey East and Great Carville, this is my favorite guy. And someday he'll be coaching in the NHL. So we got two pro guys coaching right now against each other, Cashman and Houle. And I can just tell you, the man sitting to your left, Jimmy, he will be in pro hockey sooner rather than later.
No, thank you. Yeah. Thanks. I'm pretty happy where I am, but I appreciate the support, Pierre.
You got it.
Speaking of where you are right now, what was to you in your eyes a turning point, whether it was late in the regular season or in this tournament, that got you to Lake Placid?
I actually think our turning point of the year was probably early November. We were 3-5. We made some changes. We juggled our lines. Probably the biggest thing we did was we took Victor Cheneknier. He was kind of our fourth line, and we moved him into like a top 2 or 3 center role. We're kind of 3-line team right now. We're not really a 1 first, second, third line thing. And I think that changed everything. Victor's been great. We put him with Ricketts, and that gave us the 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be off on where we are right now. I think we're 21-5 since we did that. So that was the big. There were other little things, but that was the big thing we did. And Victor really stepped up and gave us some life.
Pierre?
Coach, you know what I've always admired about you? You're one of the great tacticians, but you're real smart when it comes to numbers and figuring stuff out. Where do you think we are pair-wise? What needs to be rejigged? Is there anything that needs to be rejigged in this?
You talking about the pairwise as a whole, or are you talking about like specifically for Quinnipiac?
I'm talking about pair-wise as a whole, not you guys. You guys are where you deserve to be.
Yeah.
But there's some things that have happened early in the playoffs here where pair-wise has kind of gone away.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate. I think you're going to have a hard time finding something that's better. You know what I mean? I don't know what would be better for us. So I'm good with it. I think it's pretty cut and dried. I think the websites, CHN and USCHO do a great job of analyzing and having it out there in front of you. And then those guys end up picking the brackets pretty good too. They're pretty good at it. So I would say I'm pretty happy with where it is.
Coach, when you look at your Lake Placid here, what is it in terms of just the environment? What does that mean to you? Every time you come here, is there something different you notice about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's buzzing in here now. You walk in, got all the kids, the young kids
for the Can-Am.
walking around with their jerseys.
Yep.
And it's just, there's a lot of nostalgia here and some pretty cool stuff. I was we had practice today, and it's Joe Dume was running a drill, so I was kind of, just doing my thing, kind of just watching practice. And also I realized I was up looking at all the names around. It's just, it's pretty cool. I mean, I vividly remember, watching USA Soviets and watching USA Finland. Actually, the Soviet game, Pierre, you remember this was tape delayed, right?
Yeah, it was.
3 hours tape delayed. A lot of people don't remember that, and it was like, the internet wasn't around, but there's some rumors going at the US one. I'm like, there's no way. But I don't remember a lot from when I was 13, but I remember that game.
No, and I remember too. I was a freshman in college, and I remember it clear as day. My brother and my dad were there, and there were no cell phones, and they called the fraternity house where I was pledging, and they said, "You won't believe this, but the Americans just beat the Soviets." So I do remember that clear as day, Coach. So let me ask you about your team. I know Jimmy asked you about different things with your group. I've been impressed with the internal development of your group as a whole. How much time do you spend on developing your players day in and day out?
I mean, we do a lot. We definitely get on early with them. We stay late. There's a fine line. Like you can't do too much because then you burn them out, right? You gotta, there's a fine line with that. I think we also do a really good development with developing them off the ice. Brajesh Patel is our strength coach. He's phenomenal. He always says to me, I'll make them better athletes, you make them better hockey players. So we've got kind of a nice working relationship with that. But we definitely put a lot of time into it, and our practices are very well thought out, and we go at pace. I think that's probably the biggest thing we do is everything's at pace, everything's fast. We put our players under a lot of duress and have to make plays in tight situations, and then when they get in games, it's natural.
In terms of that, just to further that, you guys lost some guys last year coming into this season. What did you do to keep your culture? Because everyone talks about the Quinnipiac culture. How do you keep that translating onto new players and new teams?
Yeah, it was difficult. I didn't think we really had it early in the season, and that's why we were probably struggling. But we had 14 new players out of 26. Again, we met as a staff a few times when we were 3-5, and I'm like, hey, we're not changing anything. This is what we do works. We just got to keep, pounding the drum and staying with what we're good at, and get the kids to buy in, and they did. I think the biggest thing to having great culture is recruiting either good character kids or elite character kids, and we do. And Joe and now Rick Bennett. I've had Billy Riga, Mike Corbett left me. I've had some other guys move on to other jobs. Cashman. But we that's a non-negotiable. We're not perfect, but we try to be perfect and get great kids.
Coach, you talk about coaches. I don't think there are two longer serving guys in the ECAC than Rand Pecknold and Mike Schafer. You guys are going to square off tomorrow. Not a lot of secrecy in terms of what you guys do. How do you get the upper hand as a coach?
I don't know. Schafer, I get the upper hand in either one. Like it's pretty evenly matched. Like he does a great job. He and his staff. I think we do a good job. And we've had 3 great games with them this year. We had we beat them 2-1 in Ithaca, which is it's a tough place to win at Lina. And then 2 overtime ties that we end up losing in the shootout. So they've been all close games. It'll be close again tomorrow. It's going to be a 1-goal game. And, Probably in the end it comes down to special teams and goaltending, like most playoff games.
When you go into moments like this, how much do you, I mean, obviously you want to win, but how much do you stress to the players, embrace the moment, like be in the moment and enjoy it?
I don't know if I get into that. I probably use the phrase more attack the moment. Let's get in, because sometimes you can get a little starry-eyed, or you overthink things a little bit, or, you're dealing also to, like, all 4 teams that are here, like maybe parents that don't come to games a lot. Now they're going to be here and they're trying to pull you away and get your time, or the girlfriends and whatever. So I think you want to attack the moment. And for us, whenever we're going to be good against Cornell, like we got to get into battle mode early.
All right.
Nobody knows Lake Placid better than you. Nobody does. So what's your favorite thing to do when you're not talking hockey in Lake Placid?
Oh, you know what? I'm not going to get paid for this. I should be on their advertising campaign, but smoke signals. It's a barbecue restaurant here. I don't know if you've ever been there. I love it.
I know it, Coach. I know it.
It's phenomenal. Like, it's probably one of my favorite restaurants in the world.
Awesome.
So I'm a big smoke signals fan.
Good
There
stuff.
you go.
We were at the Lake Placid Brewery yesterday. Amazing.
Was it good?
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, see, I can't leave. I can't go anywhere else because I love smoke
You're
signals.
just stuck there?
Oh, I locked in. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. Good luck.
Okay.
And we'll get you down the line, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Coach,
Thanks, Pierre. Good luck with you today with your son.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. See you, Coach.
All right. That's sorry I was out of the camera there a little, but I wanted the coach to be the focus there, Pierre.
No, I'm glad you did, Jimmy. You did a really good job with both coaches. Rand is, I hate to say it, I don't want to get him in trouble with his school, but he's on a short list for a lot of pro teams. He really is.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, Pierre, and we talked about this a bit yesterday too, is the reversal of coaches going to college from the pros, like JF did. What's the key when you go from college to the pro, Pierre? Because you've done it. What do you have to look out to do that's different? Like, what's the biggest difference?
You need to find somebody internally that you really trust. I'm talking whether it's a player, a trainer, a management person, and say, before I got here, what did you like? And since I've gotten here, what don't you like? And what don't you like, I need to fix.
Yep.
So you got to find that person. It's really important. I was fortunate. We had Craig Patrick, Bob Johnson, Scotty Bowman, Barry Smith, Rick Keogh, Rick Patterson, like a murderer's row of elite hockey people. So I could just sit there in our breakfast meetings as a 28-year-old and listen. Sometimes a fish wouldn't get caught if they kept their mouth shut. and I would just sit there and listen. And I learned so much every breakfast because we would have these really intense breakfast meetings. And they were from 8 to 10. They were like 5:30 to 7:30, if you know what I mean. And you would learn so much. But that would be, I think, for if a college guy called me up, what's the one thing you need to do? Get into your situation, find somebody you really trust, ask them what they liked about their situation and what didn't they like, and then go to work on fixing it.
We look at there's so much technology available now, Pierre, for coaches and players, obviously. Is it important, do you think, to stress to a person in that situation nowadays? Don't just depend on the technology. Don't just depend on all the information there. Depend on the human element.
I think it's the biggest thing that's been lost, and they got to find a way to get it back. And I'll tell you why John Cooper's such a good coach. John Cooper's not an elite tactician. John Cooper's not an elite scout. John Cooper's an elite manager of people. He manages ideology and he manages people, and he's really good at it. He's probably as good as anybody I've seen in the league at it. And if you did it, let's just say we did a Cole's Notes test of breakout against a contained forecheck or power play entries or press penalty kill, he'd probably grade at the bottom. Probably would. But if you did a test on, hey, managing people, managing moments, managing time zone travel, managing families, Cooper would be far removed. He'd be so far ahead of everybody else.
You're so right there, Pierre. And as you're saying that, you know what's going through my head? His relationship with Kucherov. You ever know they've had some ups and downs, but they make it through. Like they find their way through those stormy waters. And it's amazing how he's able to reel him in at times and then let him go.
Yeah, I think I think John's really good at that. Rod Brindamore is a little like him. Rod's probably better tactically, but
Yep.
they're similar because Rod's of that school where I don't think he liked getting kicked in the face very much when he was a player.
Mhm.
But I think he really liked it when he had coaches that communicated well with him. And so he took that from them. And I think some of his best hockey was when he played for Peter Laviolette. And he and Laviolette had an amazing relationship. So there are a bunch of coaches that are like that. There's some that they know it, and I know it, and you know it. We're just not going to say who they are.
Mhm.
They're really overrated.
Yeah.
They're really overrated. And some of them are getting found out, and some of them haven't been found out yet.
Yep. All right, Pierre. Well, we got a break here. Actually, we see some coaches coming over right now. I was going to say we get a break. We'll take some questions, but we'll do that later. The aforementioned Reed Cashman is joining us right now, Pierre.
The pride of Red Wing, Minnesota. Jimmy, what an amazing coach. What a great hockey player. I don't think Reed gets enough credit. Reed was a really good player.
Your agent was singing your praises just now here.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you this weekend at some point.
Yep. He's got a certain somebody playing in the hockey semis tonight.
Yeah, good luck.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Sitting in the Red Room at West End Johnny's. Reed, if you're ever down in Boston by the Garden, I highly suggest you check this place out. The room that Pierre is in right now, I don't know if you can see in the background, it's all gifts from presidents and from the White House and stuff that the owner got. It's amazing. He actually has a carpet from the White House, right? From the Oval Office?
It's a carpet right from the Oval Office, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Speaking of amazing things, this is my first time in Lake Placid, Coach. And I'm in awe. Like everywhere I walk, I look up, I see the mountains, I see the flags, I see the arena. It's amazing. What does it mean for you to be here and to get the chance to come here when you do make it?
Yeah, I mean, it's for the team. It's, hey, you have an opportunity to win a championship, right? So that's kind of the thing that's right in front of you. But this place has so much history, right?
Yeah.
And you can, as soon as you drive into town, you can feel it. Whether it's the 32 rink or the 80 rink, or and then just walking up and down the main street in the storefronts. And this is hockey history. This is part of USA hockey history, and you feel it as soon as you pull in.
Hey, Jimmy, I got to tell you, the man sitting to your left is all about details. I know that he's brought his team to Lake Placid on their way up to play Clarkson and St. Lawrence. And this was before they even made the tournament last year, or made the Final Four last year. Coach, how much went into your thought process saying, these guys haven't been here. None of my guys have been here. We got to get them acclimatized to what it's like to be in Lake Placid.
Yeah, we're just trying to build, right? So, like, any way we can try to enhance our program, enhance our team, and so we know that in the ECAC, a championship runs through Lake Placid, and so it's kind of nice geographically. It fits on the way to Clarkson, St. Lawrence. Our administration has supported the idea the last couple of years. The rink here is taking care of us, and yeah, so we stop in, we practice, we have lunch, we look at the banners, we talk about. This is why we talk about growth and building, and if we're playing our best hockey, this is where we want to end up at the end of the year.
Coach, I've asked the other two coaches we've had on here. I'm going to ask you, when you entered this season, what did you want the identity of this team to be? And at what point do you feel you really shaped it and formed it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you strip it all the way down, we just want to compete at a crazy high level, and we want to be selfless while we do that. And the best teams I've been around, if that'll compete, will neutralize any sort of talent. We have talent too, but if you don't have that compete, you're in trouble. And if you're not selfless, and if you don't play for each other, you're in trouble. And I'll be honest with you, we had it from the start. Those two things. We have an unbelievable senior class. Our guys had a great summer, and they were hungry. We've had to learn other parts of our game, and we've had to evolve. But that compete and the selflessness has been there from day one, and it's helped us get to this point.
You know, Reed, what's interesting, you played for Rand Pecknold, you coached with Rand Pecknold. Now you're going to have potentially the opportunity to coach against him. We'll see how it plays out. You still got to go through Clarkson and JF Houle, and he's got to get through, obviously, a tough matchup with Mike Schafer. How's Rand Pecknold different than the guy that coached you?
Yeah, Rand, in my opinion, he has a lot of strengths. His greatest strength is he's evolved over the 20-plus years I've known him. You know, when I got to Quinnipiac, it was long practices, it was hard practices, it was black and white in that program. There was no gray, and then he was trying to build something, and he has learned every year. Like when I worked for him, he brought in somebody for development every year for professional development. We had Jim Hiller come in one year. Barry Smith came in one year. Lane Lambert came, every year he brought somebody in, and he probably doesn't get enough credit for his teams have evolved. His coaching style has evolved, and he just continues to get better because he seeks out knowledge every year.
Coach, we were just talking to other coaches here and we're asking, like, when you come to these tournaments, how do you embrace the moment? One of the coaches was just saying, I just tell them attack. But, like, how do you tell the players don't get distracted by the moment, but also enjoy it at the same time?
Yeah, every coach has things to say, right? So we say a lot between aggression and hesitation. Choose aggression.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in between, choose aggression, and we'll make aggressive mistakes, and we'll live with that. Maybe a little different this year than last year. Before our first round game, I said let's go win 5 in a row.
Yep.
Right? Everything was about building up and being the best version of ourselves going into playoffs, and everything was about growth. Well, now we're here, and let's be confident in who we are, and let's go try to win 5 games and see if we can't be the last team standing. And so we have a very focused team right now, I think, because of that mindset.
Coach, I thought you might be in a little bit of trouble when you lost Cooper Black to the Florida Panthers as a free agent coming out of college. But you found a way to bring a portal goalie over from Clarkson. You're playing against Clarkson tomorrow. What's the message to the goalie? What's the message to the team?
Man, we have so much respect for Clarkson. We've had 2 really good games versus them. I love what JF is doing up there and his coaching staff. So, and again, because of our maturity of the group, because of the selflessness of the group, we don't have egos. We're all in on who we're playing next and extremely focused that way. So there's no unique message to the goalie or to anybody else on our team. I will say, and you guys know this, we got the best assistant coach in the country in Jason Tapp.
Mm-hmm.
He's never had a starting goalie sign less than an AHL deal. 11 years at Union, now 4 years at Dartmouth. Our last 2 guys signed NHL deals, Clay Stevenson and Cooper Black. I mean, he's a stud. He should be a head coach, and I hope he gets a head coaching job this offseason. But Tapper is really the secret behind the goaltending at Dartmouth and at Union for all those years.
Good stuff. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. We wish you the best of luck.
Great. Thank you, guys.
And by the way, what's your favorite restaurant in town? We were just asking Rand Pecknold the same thing.
In Lake Placid?
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to, I'm going to get in trouble. Our hockey ops, Brian Corcoran, found a spot. Red Fox. It's on Saranac Lake. It's about 20 minutes outside town. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Rand's been up here all these years. He didn't even know about it when I told him about it. But
he says he never leaves his signals.
Yeah.
He's
a creature of comfort. But we have an unbelievable dinner last year. We had an unbelievable Thursday night dinner, and we're gonna have another one tonight.
Hey, you guys were you at Lake Placid Brewery last night?
Yep.
Yeah. We were there right before. Yeah, they're great. Great staff there.
They took care of us.
All right. Good seeing you, man.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good luck.
I'll see you, Reid. I'll see you this weekend.
All right. So we were waiting. Mike Schafer, head coach of Cornell, will be joining us here. Pierre, I was actually speaking with him earlier today. He was asking about you. All good things. Don't you worry.
We had some old Coach Schafer and I had a few battles on the road back in the day. Well, that's okay. He walked around Saskatchewan with his cowboy boots on. There he is.
Pierre's talking about walking around Saskatchewan with your cowboy boots.
Of course.
Remember this?
You're going to recruit. You better be wearing the right stuff out there.
All right, Pierre, you give him that question. I'm just going to fix the camera. I'll be right there. So go ahead, Pierre.
No, it's great to see Coach, and what an amazing way to finish up a brilliant career. You've done amazingly well, Coach. It's great to have been a peer of yours over the years, and to see what you've done with your program is phenomenal. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, Pierre. Thank you very much. It's been a fun run this year. Not the one I expected, but it's been up and down and all over the place. And after 39 years of coaching, and still threw curveballs at me, and but I really enjoyed it. So I'm happy to get here and be at the Lake Placid one more time.
Has it been throughout the season, knowing that this is it? What's that been like, and how have you? I don't know if block it out because that's impossible, but how have you managed that?
Yeah, I mean, it has been hard to block it out at all. I think that anybody that coaches, I think that you're so wrapped up in the day-to-day practice, planning, video breakdown, having conversations with your players. I think there was the one time when we had the celebration at home that was, I think that I thought I was going to be really emotional about it, but I wasn't. And it was just lot of gratitude for, what hockey, the sport of hockey, what Cornell has done for me and my family. And so that hasn't been hard at all. I mean, I think that I've always enjoyed every journey for what it's worth. And I'm sure it'll come back at some point in time. But I've enjoyed most of the things of saying that's the last time I ever have to do budget or, go to this meeting or go to that meeting, or that's been phenomenal. And so it's been a lot of fun just knowing that I don't have to do a lot of that stuff that I don't want to do and never really want to do, but they're the necessity that drives programs, fundraising, recruiting. If you're not doing that, you're not going to be successful. So I'm happy to have done that stuff though.
Mike, you talked about the turbulence of this season. When was the point in the season when you said we're going to get this thing turned around?
Probably when we it's funny, probably when we got back to 12 forwards. When we were able to finally get to 12 forwards, I just felt like that we started getting some continuity in practice, started playing some of the kind of hockey, and I usually taper sometime early February and taper off, and this year was the exact opposite. Our practices, I think the last 3 weeks we came in and I can't remember what series was that, but I talked to our guys that they'll remember these 3 weeks for the rest of their life because it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. We're going to go after it regardless of whether we get more injuries, but we can't keep playing the way we're playing, because we just never really had that time of practicing together and getting better. And when we got to 12 forwards, I felt like we could. And then when we started playing the kind of hockey that I know we're capable of, then it started to happen. So, first practice, losing two guys, first week of practice, losing two guys for the year. I knew way back in early October, it was going to be a way, way different year.
Is a lot of that too, like you come in as the defending ECAC champions, obviously you can become the biggest game on other people's schedules. Did you feel that, like people targeting you guys that way?
I think that, Pierre knows. I think Cornell has been a target for many years. I think that, just the success the program's had.
Right.
I looked at a statistic the other day I think Cornell has only missed the Final Four since 1966, like 16 times.
Wow.
Amazing.
So I think that we've always talked about, Liner Rink is a great place to play. We always get everybody's best game. So when you get near the end of the year, you're not getting fooled by anybody. So that's one. I think there's, in college hockey, the two teams that you worry about, the two classes you worry most about, your seniors and your sophomores. And the seniors, it's a year where, they come back, they expect to have a big year, but, they want to play great. They want that, they want to finish their last year, hopefully play pro hockey. And then sophomores, they want to do something extra. They feel that they can, really elevate from the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
We have two huge sophomore and senior classes,
And
so that was a management all year long. And when you see guys like Kyle Penny, who's was really, really sick for a long period of time, he's wondering if he's even playing hockey again, let alone what his senior year is. And that affects everybody. So I think that's been more so a lot of the injuries, senior sophomores, and trying to live up to expectations that everybody placed upon us. And that's been an interesting, and as I said, every year is different, but that one was, after 39 years, that one was a unique one.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, hockey's a game of great relationships. And I think one of the great relationships that I've witnessed over the course of my hockey life is your relationship with Joe Nieuwendyk. Can you take us inside a little bit of that relationship between Mike Schafer and Joe Nieuwendyk?
I think if you know anything about Joe, we read a book that's coming into this year, and one of the things that it talked a little bit about, and this word's been brought up a lot, legacy, and people keep putting out these statistics, and they put it out about Joe, and I've seen his having to live up to that legacy, and even myself, of all the different things we've been able to accomplish. But I think the biggest thing is how you treat people and how you handle yourself and how you go about your business. way more important than all those things. And Joe's always been that. I mean, he's about as down to earth as a person that you can ever imagine. And I think that the two of us have, I think we share. I wish we shared the talent level, but we share. I think that we share the same thing of, I think it's, I said just grounded, down to earth, and don't get caught up in, the best. I think I went over to Joe to help him move at some point in time, and he had his Stanley Cup rings and his gold medal in a Tupperware bin that was tucked under his thing, and he came to like an old man skate, and he always wore his jersey inside out, so no one knew he played for the Maple Leafs. I mean, that's just the kind of person he is, and he's a good friend, but he's one of the nicest people. You talk to anybody in the hockey world, he's just a tremendous man.
Coach, you spoke earlier about things you won't miss and the things you don't want to do. I know there's probably a ton you're gonna miss, but is there one you can pinpoint that you think a year from now you're gonna be like, man, I missed that?
Oh, just walking into the locker room on a Monday, win or lose, and seeing what the reaction of the players are, of the head coach walking through that room. What's it going to be? And for me to see those guys that is the practice time that I always enjoyed the most is just walk in the locker room, seeing how they're doing as we get ready for practice. Have a great practice, hang out, talk to guys. That's the fun part. And I think that any coach, any player, that's what you're going to miss the most.
Mike, you're a legend at Lina. You're an iconic figure in the coaching business. You've had an amazingly distinguished career. As somebody that had to compete against you, I just want to congratulate you on all the great success you've had. Thank you for joining us as many times as you've had. And I will miss watching some of your theatrics on the bench, but I loved it because your passion never went away, Mike. You're an amazingly passionate hockey man. Congratulations on an awesome career.
I appreciate it, Pierre. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck in the tournament.
All right. Take care.
Legendary Coach Mike Schafer joining us here on the eye test as he goes into the Final Four of the ECAC Championships for the last time here. Can't say enough there, Pierre.
Oh, Jimmy, he wasn't just a good coach. He was a nasty piece of business when he played, Jimmy. He was a tough cat. He was.
I could sense that.
And, his relationship with Nieuwendyk, he deferred. But I think Joe would tell you the same thing about Mike. They are like twin brothers without, the same look, the same appearance. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing. And I've had such respect for Joe Nieuwendyk for so long, and to see how they've interacted over time. I would encourage anybody that wants to find out about what Joe Nieuwendyk's like, go watch the interview that I had the privilege of doing with Joe and Mike Schafer for the ECAC. It's on their webpage.
Yep. Joe
was so amazingly impactful when he spoke about Mike. I don't think Mike knew what to say.
Yeah.
And Mike is never at a loss for words.
Right. Me. Yeah. It's an emotional, awkward moment, I imagine. It's tough. But
yeah, it was extremely emotional.
Pierre, it's interesting. Anytime you ask a player or coach, what are you going to miss most? It's almost without fail, 99% of the time, it's like just being around the guys, just being in the room, right? And boom, he said it, and I knew he was going to, and it's true, right? I mean, there's such a camaraderie that you can't. I've never been able to experience because I haven't been in a pro hockey room like that or a college hockey locker room or been a coach, but you have. Just for our viewers and listeners that don't understand that bond and what it means to a player or a coach, just take them inside that.
Well, you can drop your exterior down. It's a safe space for you. It's what you grew up doing and loving, and if you have the passion for it, being around like-minded people is great. You might talk about hockey one morning. You may talk about the stock market the next morning. You may talk about what's current in the news. You may talk about the new baby that was born or the death in the family that just happened. And it's one of those safe spaces where you feel to yourself, I can just let my guard down and talk to these people. And the biggest thing about being in a dressing room, most of the time they're in a square. Sometimes it's a rectangle. But everybody has to look at everybody. Everybody has to look at everybody.
No BSing.
There's no messing around.
Yep.
And so I think that's one of the things that makes it such a special place. And, you know, when I was doing the games on TV for as long as I did, and I had the honor sometimes where coaches would ask me to go in and address their team, the first thing I would always say is, thank you very much for allowing me to be in your workspace.
Mm-hmm.
And I meant it from the bottom of my heart. Because you don't want interlopers in your room. You don't want people that don't care or respect your room. You don't want people that don't care or respect the game being in your room. You don't want people that are there on ulterior motive in your room. And so I would always thank them for allowing me to be in their workspace.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I actually, Pierre, and I'm not going to name the year because I don't want to give away any of the players or anything, but there was a time when I was covering the Bruins where accidentally, I thought the room was open, right? Like one of the PR guys accidentally told me the room was open. And I was the first one down there. Always tried to be the first one down there. I think you were one of the people that taught me to do that. And I go in and they're looking up at me like, what the bleep are you doing in here? You know, they just kind of looked and I'm like, oh, this is awkward. I mean, it was like, I felt like I was in the Southwest commercial, you know, want to get away. And so I'm there and then they said, no, stay. And the coach, I'm not going to name the coach because again, we'll give it away. But he said, no, Murph, stay. I want you to experience this. It never leaves this room. But I want you to get it and understand why this is a sacred spot for us. And he let me stay there. And I know exactly what you're talking about, Pierre. It was just, it was so eye-opening. And from that point on, I always respected that. I made sure I'm never early. I made sure I had the green light to get in there. But it was a hell of an experience.
Yeah, no, it's a special experience. I remember once our dear friend Mark Recchi called me up with Saku Koivu. We were on the road in St. Louis. And there was a pretty substantial thing going on with the Montreal Canadiens. And they said, we're getting together with 8 guys, and we'd like you to be the 9th. And I said, sure, where are we going? What are we doing? So they gave me the address, and we all met at this one steakhouse. And it was a long talk that night. And it was talking about being part of the Canadiens organization. It was talking about one of the players that had just been traded away. And it was talking about what they needed to do to make the playoffs that year. It was a fantastic experience. You know, I had been through it as a coach, and it was really my first time as a broadcaster going through that. And I just remember saying to Mark afterwards, I'm so grateful that you included me in this dinner. And he goes, you have more experience than anybody that was sitting at that table. That's why I wanted you there. And I'm like, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. All right, well, let's get to it, Pierre, because I want you to be able to go and enjoy your dinner and get into the TD Garden for the second game in the hockey semifinals and watch your son and the Northeastern Huskies take on the University of Maine. So let me tell everybody about our sponsors here. TCS Customs and Logistics. Unlock the full potential of your shipping operation with TCS Customs and Logistics. From around the corner to around the world, flatbeds to air freight, customs clearance to drawback consulting, TCS is a one-stop shop for all things transport, moving pieces and delivering a peace of mind. For a no-obligation customs or freight quote, contact sickpodcast at shiptcs.com. Again, that's sickpodcast at shiptcs.com. And, of course, our wonderful betting sponsors, where you can still go all the way with Betway and get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario. You must be 18 plus and always bet responsibly. Let's go to the sick pick of the night.
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by Betway.
All right, Pierre, I've got 2 picks in the NHL. I'm going to start with the red-hot Montreal Canadiens, who are on Long Island, well, technically Queens, to play the New York Islanders, who themselves are still in the playoff race, still have a chance. Huge game down there. I'm liking the Canadiens to keep it going. I was wondering, is this a letdown game after that Ottawa game? That was such an emotional game. The crowd was amazing there, but this team just seems to be determined. They're on a mission. I'm riding that wave with the Canadiens. Give me them as an underdog on the money line at plus 120. And then I'm going to go to the team they beat, the Ottawa Senators, hosting the Colorado Avalanche, who lost last night 2-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Give me the over in this. Surprisingly, you can still get it at Betway. It's going up in other places, though, so get on there quickly. It's only at 5.5. I think this game has goals. The last time they played was 7-6. So give me the over 5.5 between the Avalanche and Senators. And then I'm going to switch to college hockey. And I'm going to go right to the game you're about to go into, Pierre. And again, I'm looking at that over-under. I won't lie. I'm cheering for Northeastern, but I don't bet with my heart. So I'm going that over-under again. That's at 6.5. I told you, watch these college games. The majority of them in these playoffs are under. Go on the under 6.5 there with Northeastern and Maine. And those are my picks of the night. And Pierre, I'm going to tell you, I was tempted also to pick overtime. I feel like you're in for a long one tonight. I don't mean to
Thanks, Jimmy. That's really great.
But I don't know.
I'm missing here already. You want me to miss more?
Well, that's the beauty of it. You can't lose anymore. You're golden. All right, let's get to that Q&A. All right, Bert L. When a teammate is hit hard, is it the first guy into the scuffle's responsibility to go after the checker? Also, since everybody grabs another guy's, do you look for similarly sized players to tie up? Pierre, before you answer quickly, I just want to say, and we've said this before, I don't think you necessarily have to go after a guy for a fight when there's a hard hit. Respect the hit, take the number, and get him back with a hard hit. That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah, and those situations happen pretty quick. So it's not always where you say, I'm going to get the bigger guy, I'm going to get the smaller guy. Sometimes the other guy attacks you too. So it's hard to just say, is this exactly how it happens? It's not how it happens. It just happens.
It's chaos.
It happens. It's just chaos.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
I'm with you on that. All right, next question. Randy Workman, Jimmy and Pierre, how do you teach a player to be a team player from being a me player? It's a good question, Randy.
It's a very good question. You know what? It starts in practice. If guys start to act really selfish in practice, you get behind them and whisper in their ear. And if they don't like it, you make them skate or you make them do other stuff. But it all starts in practice. And a lot of it's peer pressure too. The best thing about hockey is usually the players police the room. And if they do, if you're a good teammate, eventually, you're going to see the bad teammate and you're going to bring the bad teammate along and try to help them. But sometimes if you can't do that, the coach got to step in and do a little help with you.
All right, next question. Alex Ivanowski, if you're Chicago and you got the first pick in the draft and you got a ton of great defense prospects, are you still taking Schafer?
100%. Because one of those other defense prospects, I'm going to move out for an established NHL player. Matt Schafer's the best player in the draft. He's the best player. Now, it doesn't mean Jimmy Higgins isn't good. Jimmy Higgins is a good player. But if you're going to try to build a team around Jimmy Higgins, that's your opinion. I think you need more D than you need more O. And I think that's why I would draft a defenseman.
All right, next question. Alex Ivanowski, and I keep hearing all of these out-of-playoff teams say they are just going to copy what the Caps did quickly and turn it around. Sounds like wishful thinking and BS to me. Easier said than done, right? Alex, you're dead on, and I'm so tired, not just fans and teams, like the media saying this. Like, you can't just do that, right, Pierre?
Which team said that on the record?
I haven't seen a team on the record.
That's why, I'm listening and I'm reading the question. So, and you know how much I respect Alex's question.
Yeah.
But there's no team. If a general manager ever said that and I was the owner of the team, I'm bringing that guy and said, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Don't ever say that.
Yeah.
So I think this is a media creation, not a team creation.
I agree.
And anybody that thinks they can just mimic what the Washington Capitals have done have no idea about development. They have no idea about scouting. They have no idea about the American Hockey League. And they have no idea about the stars that they had there for a long period of time that helped cultivate these young players. So if there's a team out there doing that and saying that, they're going to be in big trouble because they're not going to be able to mimic what Washington has done. No chance.
Yeah. But I'm with you. I've had my colleagues of mine in Boston say this, and I'm just, what are you watching? Like, that makes you think that this certain team could do that. Go look at what they have coming. And as you said, just look at the drafting, look at the scouting they've done. Washington deserves a ton of credit. An amazing job they did. All right, next question. Ethan Russell, what do young defensemen like Lane Hudson need to do to solidify their defensive game? Is it something that comes with reps and film? Ethan, I think Lane has done a great job as this season goes on. Pierre, I don't know what you think.
No, he's got great stick positioning. He defends really well with his feet. He doesn't rely on his upper body strength because he doesn't have that much of it. He'll get stronger, and the stronger he gets, the better it'll be. He won't be as high risk as he goes along either. Some of his defensive foibles are his high risk. He's a tremendous talent. He should be Rookie of the Year in the National Hockey League. His defense has come along tremendously well this season. Stefan Robida, the assistant coach in Montreal, deserves a lot of credit for working with him.
I agree. All right, next question. Randy Workman, Jimmy and Pierre, how does Dallas beat the Avs?
Get Miro Heiskanen healthy and have Ottinger out goaltend either Wedgwood or Blackwood. That's how they beat them. If they don't have Miro Heiskanen healthy and they can't get one of the two woods, whether it's Wellwood or Blackwood or Wedgwood or Blackwood to be, for those guys to be out goaltended by Ottinger, they're going to have a problem. Dallas got to have Ottinger be great, and they got to get Heiskanen back.
And the big thing too, Pierre, and they shouldn't even try. They're not going to match Colorado up the middle. I think right now, going into playoffs, they have the strongest team.
Nobody wants. How come all those insiders aren't talking about Brock Nelson being there? How come none of them aren't talking about Charlie Coyle not being there? How come none of them are talking about Jack Drury being there? They brought in three center icemen that are NHL players after everybody else could have done it. Everybody else had the chance to do it. How come they did it and nobody else did?
And then, oh, by the way, who's their 1C? Oh, Nathan McKinnon.
Hey, Ross, and by the way, Ross Colton, who's a Stanley Cup winner, he's also a natural center iceman.
Yep.
They murder everybody down the middle. That McKinnon guy's, he's
the balance. Yeah, the balance
in that year. It's ridiculous.
Yep, it's unreal. All right, next question. Ethan Russell, what does Quinnipiac need to do to be successful this weekend? Never easy playing Cornell. What does a young defenseman like Elliot Gronwald need to do to help drive Quinnipiac's success?
Yeah, Gronwald's a Boston Bruins draft pick. Quinnipiac has to get a lead. If you don't get the lead against Cornell, you can ask Colgate last weekend. They fell behind in both their games. They could never get it back on track. Once Cornell gets a lead, they just lean on you. They're the New Jersey Devils from the 1990s. They just suffocate the game in the neutral zone. For Quinnipiac, you got to get the lead. A player like Gronwald's a good player. He's developing. He's going to keep getting better there. He's going to keep getting stronger. Rand's done an amazing job with their program at Quinnipiac. He's done a really good job.
He really has. All right, next question. Brandon Parker. Hey, guys. Question for Pierre. Doug Christensen saying hello here, Pierre.
I'll tell the commissioner I said hi back.
What a wonderful host he and the whole ECAC staff have been, by the way, Pierre. I want to thank them. They've been tremendous to me since I've been here. Unreal time so far. Brandon Parker. Hey, guys. Question for Pierre. What do the Habs need to do to get past the Isles tonight? Thanks as always, fellas.
I would say don't make it an easy game for Noah Dobson. So by that, I mean Noah Dobson gets big minutes on the power play. I would challenge Noah Dobson big time on their defense. I go right after him. I put pucks in his corner. I pulverize him at the point of attack. Play 5-on-5 against the Islanders. Really important part of their thing. And you got to get traffic. I think is Sorokin playing? I would imagine he is, but I don't know. You got to get traffic to him. If he sees pucks, he's going to stop him. And, everybody says, we got to get traffic. Yeah, okay. We know you got to get traffic. They got to make it a hard game, Montreal, down below the hash marks in front of the opposition goaltender.
Like I said, though, Pierre, one thing I do like about them right now, and I said I was a little worried about it, but then I thought about it. They are, and it's a credit to Marty St. Louis and his staff, they're doing a wonderful job of staying even-keeled right now. I think that's been really key for Montreal.
Oh, Jimmy, that's such a good point, and you're right on. I agree with that 100%.
All right, next question. Sound the siren. Pierre, is it difficult for you watching Ryan play, and do you take your dad-colored glasses off, or do you leave them on with rose-colored love?
You know what? It's not hard for me to watch him play because I know that prior preparation prevents potential problems, and I know how hard that kid worked in the summer and every summer, and I know how hard he worked during the season, so I don't really worry about the games much. I don't. But I got a person that sits to my right usually, my wife. She gets a little emotional at the games. So I got to kind of calm her down a little bit. But it's all good. It's all good. In terms of the rose-colored glasses, my son knows the rules. When the game's going on, I'm his coach and he's a player. When the game's over and we're talking, I'm his dad and he's my son. That's how we do it.
Yeah, I hear. Pierre, we might be bombarded by some noise here because the air hockey table has just been turned on.
Oh, I can only imagine. Is that the Russia-U.S. air bubble game? Yeah, I bet it is. There you go. I've been that rink a couple times in Lake Placid, Jimmy. Just a couple.
We're gonna take three more here before it gets really loud in here because I'm telling you, I'm not gonna be able to hear you soon. All right, let's roll. Ethan Russell again. What does Northeastern have to do to knock off Maine? Good luck to you and Ryan tonight, Pierre.
Well, I wish I was playing, but I'm not. So thanks anyways for that, Ethan. That's very nice of you. I think the biggest thing is a little bit like what you have to do when you play Cornell. You got to get the lead. You know, we've played against Maine a fair bit this year. It's never been easy if you don't have the lead. Ben Barr is a tremendous coach. He's a great coach. They got big defense. Their defense is big. So you got to get a lead. And I think the biggest thing is do not give them easy minutes on the power play. Like we talked about for the Canadians against the Islanders, their power play is really good. So try to play 5-on-5 and grind it out. Force them to play defense rather than offense.
All right, next question. Vincent Noel, hello, gentlemen. My heart goes out to the Gallagher family. Oh, yes. I remember the first time I cried over hockey. Badger Bob had just passed away. Question for Pierre. How do you manage that as a team? Rest in peace, Badger.
First of all, to the Gallagher family, Jimmy and I were talking about that this morning. We're just so sad for Brendan and the entire family losing their mother. I had no idea she was sick, Jimmy. I had no idea. So yeah. I feel terrible for Brendan and his family, but what a celebration by him the other night. And I think his mother was looking down saying thanks. In terms of dealing with Badger Bob's passing, that was hard. I'm not going to lie. That was really hard. You get emotional thinking about it.
I know.
No, we won the Stanley Cup, and then the guy you win with, he gets sick and he dies. It's hard. It's hard to deal with.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about this, Pierre. He was an amazing man. He was an amazing man.
Oh, gosh. I had so many great times with him on the road, and I learned so much from him, being around in the office or on planes or at practices or going out scouting. He was a big believer in scouting. He loved scouting. He was a huge believer in scouting.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't know him, Pierre. You were lucky enough to know him, but I'm pretty sure he's proud of you up above, my man. I know that for sure.
Thanks.
Next question. And this will be our last one because it is about to get loud. All right, posting it on 130. Savard and Jack-Eye backing in too far in the D zone on Bathelson's goal. The coaching staff go over this. Why do they not attach right at the blue line?
Because there was a guy named Jake Sanderson who was screening down the left side, Ottawa's right side, and if Jack-Eye doesn't turn and go with him, he's going to get a breakaway. So it's a really tough play, and I get people want to get mad. They wanted to stay up as much as anybody. But I've been on – Jake Sanderson can really skate. Let me tell you, there was no way. Jack-Eye had to respect his speed, and if he doesn't, it's going to be a breakaway. So you picked your poison, and they got caught in the middle. By the way, and I can tell you this, Jimmy, Batherson can shoot the puck. He can really rip it. And that was a beautiful shot. It was a great goal.
All right. Listen, that's what we're going to have to do. I apologize because this place just got jammed here. All the kids are coming out of the last round of games, so I can't hear you too much right now. But listen, you have a wonderful time, my friend. Enjoy it. Good luck to Ryan. Please tell Melanie and tell Johnny I said hello, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm hoping here on this laptop and not in person, all right?
That's very kind of you, and I appreciate the kind words. Thank you to all the questioners, and I know we got a lot left in the queue. We will make it up to you. Thank you very much.
We will tomorrow for sure.
Thank you.
All right, and I want to thank everyone here again with the ECAC and with the Olympic Center. Summer, the bartender right here, has been amazing, helping me set up, helping me get everything going here technology-wise. So thanks to her and thanks to everyone else here. We will be back here at Romer's at the Olympic Center in Lake Placid tomorrow as we tee up the ECAC Championship games. So join us here on the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. Until then, enjoy the hockey, everyone.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.